Morning makers, welcome to another episode of PhDyer. Been so tired lately. I've been sleeping in, honestly. Not that that's unusual, but I feel like I'm really sleeping in now for some reason. Hasn't been a very productive week considering my wrist is out of commission, but let's see. But I still tried to stitch like with my left hand, although that was quite unsuccessful. But it's been a good week for my garden. I'm gonna check in here in a minute, see what we have. Okay, my green beans are growing really, really fast. I got these like sticks that I'm going to put in the soil, but honestly, they need a much bigger pot at this point. I'm starting to see some roots on the bottom. I think they're just growing out of the pot really quickly, so I'm gonna have to get a new pot, but for now I'm gonna put these support sticks in there anyway. Yep, my thyme is like a huge bush, and my basil is still getting taller and not wider. I mean, it got a tiny bit wider like over here, but I would have liked if it got a little bit wider rather than so tall, because sometimes it blows over in the wind, so that's an issue. And a little wider here down the bottom. See, I tried to cut it on the sides there to make it grow out. My rosemary is just about the same. It has a little bit of growth, but honestly I'm kind of surprised it isn't growing more. I haven't cut any, so maybe I'll harvest some and see if I can promote some growth. Sage is doing wonderful. And these are my little eggplant sprouts. They are adorable. Let's see, their leaves are kind of like fuzzy actually. Super cute, and they're doing pretty well. Their stems are fuzzy too. My cilantros finally have little tiny cilantro leaves. Look at them, aren't they adorable? I love how there's dog hair even outside on this porch. Serious? Excuse my dog hair? It's literally everywhere. But they have little cilantro leaves. All of them do. So they're doing great. I may have to move them into the sun. They're in the shade right now. So yeah, everybody's doing pretty good. I'm gonna get these little support beams put in the green beans and move these over. Okay, I got some support beams put in over here. Honestly, never done this before, so I hope that's right. And yeah, everybody's looking great. I'm gonna go in and have my coffee now. Alright, so like I said, it's been kind of an unproductive week because my wrist is out of commission. I tried to do some stitching towards the beginning of the week and put the knitting down to try to get it so that my wrist would heal before it got this bad. But honestly, it didn't really work. It just got really bad really quickly. It's to the point now where like any movement of my fingers is really, really painful. It like shoots down into my arm, and my elbow is really painful. So I'm just alternating and putting some ice on it, sometimes heat, mostly ice because I feel like that makes it feel better. And I also use peppermint oil. It kind of works like icy hot. I always used it for my headaches, so now I'm using it for my wrist and my elbow. So I'm just gonna take like, I guess like a week or two off, because usually it's like 2 weeks for tendonitis. So I'm gonna be unproductive for probably the next week or so. which sucks, but I don't really have a choice. I don't want to cause permanent damage. It's never actually been this bad before. I mean, I know you guys have seen me with a brace on before, but it's never anything like this. So some exciting things did happen. John got a job. He is managing a liquor store like 15 minutes away from the house. So we're really excited about that. He got an offer that was close to what we had in South Carolina, but we have to pay for health insurance, so it's going to cut a little bit into that. But honestly, with COVID going on, like, any offer that was even remotely close to what we had would have been excellent, so I think it's probably fine. So yeah, he started work today. It's his first day, and I think he was excited. He said he wasn't too nervous. It's a step down from where he used to be. He used to be a proprietor or like a general manager, and now he's just a manager, so somebody manages him, which is what his job used to be. But he's kind of relieved. Like, I started the yarn dyeing and it really took off, so it's going to allow him to be able to take a step down and make a little less money but have a little more time at home rather than the 90 hours he used to work a week, and we never spent any time together. So I think from what he said, he's really excited about having a little bit of leeway with that. So I'm really happy for him, and I'm hoping everything goes well. I'm a little nervous about it because with COVID, we've gotten some offers before, and then they ended up being really weird offers once he got there. They'd be like, well, we'll pay under the table till we figure out where we're at. But they were restaurants, and I think the restaurants knew that they were kind of going under. So this is a liquor store. Honestly, just like crafting is booming, I would assume everybody's home drinking, so liquor stores are probably not suffering much from COVID, if I had to guess. I don't really know, but I think so. And the guy is really cool. John said he is a radioactive doctor. He developed like vaccines and stuff. So he thought it was really interesting. He's going to work for a doctor, and he's married to another scientist. So it was pretty funny. Small world. But yeah, so this guy's older and he owns a liquor store, and he wants somebody to take over eventually. So he hired John as a manager, and then he said he'll pick him out from the managers he hired, a general manager. So maybe there's room for growth too. So yeah, so that was exciting. It's his first day today, so I apologize this is late. I spent his last day yesterday. We spent some time together, and then my wrist, went out. I don't even know how I'm going to edit this. I'm hoping it has minimal editing so that I can just not use my fingers as much, but we'll see. Really exciting things happened at Baltic Yarns. Me and John took a trip there a few days ago, and I basically took this huge bag of yarn and I laid it out on the table, and I thought they were really just going to pick a few because I thought what they really wanted were these, the Asbury Tides and the Fifth Avenue, but he picked 18 colorways in DK and fingering. So I'm going to be busy doing those for him. I'm doing the DK right now, but because of the wool shortage, we're going to wait until mid-September, like the 13th to the 15th, to see if I can get more of this special, more fluffy fingering weight yarn in for him. So I'll wait to see if I can get more of that fingering weight in, and then I will let him know, and then he'll put the fingering weight order through. But right now we're going to focus on DK, which is totally fine. That gives me some time because I also have the darn good yarn orders to do. So lots of wholesales. I'm so excited because it means good money, and honestly I can do them in batches, big dye lots, and it makes it a lot easier when it's the same colorway over and over again. So for me it's going to be pretty, not easy money, but it will be easier than if I had to do like 22 colorways that were all different for the personal orders, which does sometimes happen, and it takes me quite a bit of time to, because some of these have like 5 or 6 colors in them, and so I have to come up with all the colors and then dye like 2 or 3 of each, and it gets difficult. But I really enjoy it, so I'm so excited other people love them. And it was so fun watching them pick out their colors. They were like mixing and matching things. So the only thing he didn't take were these like mauve-y type colors. I think he has a ton of pinks because he said he's in this pink phase. We were laughing because this one's called Virtue. And the lady's like, well, we all know why you're putting that one back. Oh, that's terrible.
That was
so
funny.
I didn't know whether to laugh or not. I was like, ooh.
It was funny.
It was funny. But they did take this pink one, Aura.
Yeah.
He thought it was fun. He loved it. So, took that. He did not take this purple, which I thought matched with like,
epic for the
I
young
know, I
people.
love it.
There's not enough
So
young
much
people,
fun. And
that's
for
the problem.
Halloween, guys,
Yeah.
don't forget, purple is like a Halloween color.
You
Look
could
at
just
this.
knit faster.
I know. I tried knitting faster. It didn't work out well for me, so I wouldn't.
Now it's a collection.
I wouldn't.
I'm a yarn collector.
I know. Now we
Who would've
look
thought?
at them. We just have them to look at.
Who would have thought?
But I wouldn't recommend knitting faster. I tried that and it doesn't work. So, and then these, look, now we're going to go through like pairs. Mom, look at these.
I know.
Soon I'm going to be
Killing
sick
me.
of this one because Darn Good Yarn ordered 500. So that's going to be an issue. Maybe not. Maybe I'll still love it by the end. But yeah, so I was busy doing that. I got all the orders together and I did the invoice last night for all the DK bases. So I should be starting them in the next week or so, and I have to have them done by the end of September, beginning of October-ish. I may just put the beginning of October on the invoice just to be safe. But it should only take me a couple days to do the quantity. It's quite a bit, but I think if I bang out like 30 a day, it won't be that bad. With my wrist, I mean, I laugh at myself because like I don't even know what I'm going to do tonight because I have like a lot of yarn to dye, and here we are. So, and John's not even here to help me. It's going to be fun. And the last thing I made before my wrist gave out was this skein. I'm calling it Pink Sands or Pink Sand Beach because, and it happened really ridiculous. So I put a skein in the pot to do an extra Asbury Tides. Obviously it looks like the Asbury Tides color. And then pink leached off the bottom of the pan. It must have been the pan that I used for speckling the heavy speckle on this skein. And I wiped it out, like I really did, but sometimes when you heavily speckle like this, there's just some residue that remains. And it's funny because it didn't leach off until like 5 or 6 minutes later when the pot got super, super hot. Like the heat released something off the bottom. And so the sand color started to turn pink. So I was like, all right, we'll just go with it so I don't waste a skein, and we'll make a one-off, one-of-a-kind skein. And I actually added a blush color to it and made it Pink Sands. So it was an accident, but it's a really pretty accident. So I'm quite happy with it. And I think somebody will really like Pink Sands Beach. So we'll see. And it's still got that sandy color in there. It's just got pink throughout the sand now. The blue is untouched. The blue is perfect. Just the sand color got it. So that was my accident. Before my hand got really bad, I had done a lot of stitching like I told you in the beginning of the week. And I got some of my Witches Brew done. Remember we found out that the Witches was off center? Well, I kept the teapot centered in the middle of the picture, and then I will probably put like Brew off center down here, and then hearts here and hearts here with the seam that they normally had. So I'm just moving things around a little bit to compensate for my really dumb mistake. So I have like a little bit outlined of the teapot. And I actually did all of what you're seeing with my left hand. I basically just leaned my arm on the fabric and used my left hand to get in there. And that took me all night to do that little bit because it was my left hand. I actually did the teapot 2 times before. And the first time it was too far down. Or no, the first time it was too far up, and the second time it was too far down. So I've had to rip it out like 2 or 3 times before I was actually happy with where it was at. So it seems like that's all I ever do anymore. Like for some reason, every time I stitch or knit, I feel like I'm completing a lot and then I have to like rip back. I don't know what's going on. It's like I lost my mojo or something. Same thing happened with this one. We were watching a movie and I was stitching. And I got this beautiful little corner made, and I've started on the ivory color right here, if you can see that. And I don't know if you can see where I pulled out, but it's kind of like messed up right here because there was a big white, well, actually I might be able to show you. So there was like a big white flower looking thing on there. And what would have been smart would have been to do the box in the middle and then do the petals on the outside. But of course that's not what I did. And when I got all the way around the petals, they didn't meet up because they weren't even. So I miscounted somewhere and then had to rip the whole thing out. But I think I'm going to have to iron the fabric because if you see, it's kind of distressed where I pulled out. But the rest of it is really beautiful. I mean, I'm actually like really obsessed with this. This is that Nantucket piece. So I'm super obsessed with stitching this. And this is my first time stitching on Lugana. I think it's like my favorite fabric. It has this like elasticity to it. It's not as rigid as the Aida is. So I really, really like it. I think it's like my new favorite and I might definitely stitch more things on it in the future. It hurts to open bags. Okay. So now the culprit, which probably is what was responsible for my wrist, or some of it anyway, this test knit, the Summer Meadow Tee by Lily Lagman. So remember how I said I didn't like the stitch definition at the bottom? It sort of looked like just bun-jumbled stitches. I didn't feel like it looked like anything. Well, it turns out I should have spoke up because it doesn't look like anything. It's actually completely incorrect, and all the cables are facing the opposite way that they're supposed to be going. So she sent out a version 2, which has a correction for the cables, but now, like, I can't, and she only gave us another week, and I can't catch up with my wrist being like this. And it requires you to actually pull out all except 4 rows. I have to go completely all the way back. So I emailed her to let her know what was going on with my wrist and that I would try to catch up. But honestly, other people are struggling to catch up too now with the test knit. And with my wrist being like this, I don't know that I will catch up. If my wrist gets better, I'm going to try, but I'm certainly not going to knit as furiously as I tried the first time because my wrist isn't going to do it. I got a few more rows on my Veeder shawl. I think I'm in the middle of a row. Oh no, I'm not. Oh yes, I am. Okay. I started another lace. Wait. I started another lace section. And I think it's going well. Oh, I see there's a stitch I pulled up. But yeah, so this is going well. I had finished the rest of these bands last time we talked, and now I've moved into the lace. And I'm at a standstill there until my wrist will allow it, but I think it's turning out beautiful. I took this one to Balzac Yarns too, as well as some of Mommy's shawls with the slub in the Birds of a Feather, and they loved that. They're actually requesting some slub from me. If I can get my hands on some, I might be able to do that for them, but right now slub is sold out by the distributor that I work with, so I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. So we'll see. So Darn Good Yarns contacted me, and they ended up sending me 6 skeins of their really chunky base and sent me 3 more inspirational photos of like skeins that are like royal purple with a rainbow color going through it. So and then like this pastel kind of one that's just variegated. So I am going to come up with those. And then they said they're going to send out like 150 chunky for me to dye in those 3 colorways. The 2,000 will come in for the other colorways they already approved for 4 colors in 500 quantities. And then they're going to send me even more chunky after that. So after I send these 6 back in the chunky base, I'm going to invoice them for that and get that all started. Oh, Nancy Drew's been doing really well. We're actually almost sold out. We're over halfway there. And that'll be running for 3 months for 3 different mysteries. And then we're going to actually open up another one in October that will be for November. That will run side by side with Nancy Drew. So I'll keep you in the loop on what that might be. And you guys will get a first view of like what the theme is, of course. And then aside from that, all I've been doing is packaging up the Halloween advents and getting them ready. They go out September 15th. So we're just finishing up everything that's needed for that and getting that going. Again, that's been a little slow because of my arm, but honestly, everything else that's left, I might be able to get somebody to help me write on the labels. But everything else that's left can be done with one arm, so I think it'll be fine. Or mostly one arm, I don't know. So yeah, a lot of exciting things. I did film some at Baltic Yarns. I apologize, I probably could have filmed more, but it was my first time out of the house with the mask on as long as it was on. And I got so sick on the ride home that we actually ended up on the side of the highway. Like, I had to, like, seriously sit for, like, 30 minutes on the side of the highway just breathing because I got so sick from being in the mask. I don't think Russell from Baltic Yarns knew I was that sick. I probably should have told him, like, I need to leave. But I thought if I just took a minute, I'd be okay. Like, I didn't think
That's funny, you wore a mask, didn't you? Oh, no, you didn't.
You where?
In the lab.
No. So when I worked in a lab, they wouldn't allow us by law to wear a mask. If you got caught with a mask on, your lab was actually fined, a serious fine. You have to be fitted for a mask and take a class or something before you can wear one. So I guess I'm just not used to it, but it would have had a respirator just like my dye mask has. So when I wear the dye mask in the studio, it actually allows you to breathe and takes out air. You don't actually continually breathe in your own breath for hours. That's why these masks they're using for COVID, like the N95s that go around your face, they're for short-term use. You're supposed to wear them like a half hour at a time. They're actually meant for, like, if you had to run to the store, you need to get into the store and out of the store. You're not supposed to wear them for hours or days or any of that. And so when they were picking out the yarn, like 2 hours went by, and then he's like, all right, I'll give you a tour. And like the nausea and sickness hit so fast, I didn't even have time to be like, I need to leave before it got so bad that I didn't have control over it anymore. So yeah, I ended up on the side of the highway so sick. So I filmed on the way there, and then on the way back, like there was just, it wasn't happening. Unless you guys wanted to see me throw up, which I highly doubt. So, per usual, I was sick for everything. Yeah, and it was sad because it was like so exciting. But I think it was a combination of like the nerves and then the mask and just breathing in that for 2 hours. It just didn't work out well. One thing I was surprised he didn't take on to was the sparkle base.
Oh, I know, and it's so good.
Everybody's been ordering Asbury Tides and the sparkle. I mean, I'm kind of glad he didn't because I only have a little bit of this left. I don't know if I could get it in the quantity he'd want it anytime soon. I'm keeping this one. It's so pretty. I don't know. He didn't seem thrilled with sparkle or speckles. I guess maybe he knows what he wants, so that's fine. So yeah, I'll show you a little bit about the trip to Baltic Yarns. And my garden is doing spectacular. We have baby cilantro leaves. They're adorable. So I'll show you a little bit of that. Alright, I guess I will see you next week, and I'll have a making update for you tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be able to do some more left-handed stitching, but who knows. Alright, happy making and have a nice week. Bye! We're on our way to Baltic Yarns. I am exhausted because I was up all night, sick, non-COVID related, obviously. And we brought masks. He has a cute mask. Did you see his mask? He has like one of those cute masks.
Does he?
Yeah. We're not in the cool kids club, we just have white masks. But I'll show you my transformation because I brought makeup that I'm going to apply in about an hour because we have like an hour and 20-minute drive. So we're gonna get some gas, and I brought literally an entire tote bag full of yarn, and then like a basket full of whips and finished objects. And I'm wearing my Birds of a Feather shawl by Andrea Mowry. It's weird because we have to like pump our own gas in South Carolina, so I always go to get out at the gas
New Jersey's
station.
the only state that doesn't.
I know,
Get out.
and I always forget every time we pull up to one. Transformation is complete. More makeup on. You didn't think that was funny?
It's very funny.
Yeah, so I look like a human now, and we're almost to, we have like what, 10 minutes?
Yeah. It's
We have like 10 minutes till we get to Balzac Yarns, and hopefully I'll get to shop a little after we're done talking about the yarn. And hopefully he doesn't think I'm insane because I brought like 2 big, huge bags.
Lots of choices.
Yeah, why not?
Because you've got an extensive catalog.
Yeah. I even brought some I don't sell anymore. Oops.
Just in case.
Never know. We're here.
Yeah.
Yay.
Super.